Noxcrew! Hello and welcome to a new series called Project Minecraft Game Show. I am Noxite and I'm the producer and editor behind the Noxcrew Gameshow. If you don't know what the Noxcrew Gameshow is, then it doesn't really matter too much, because I'm going to pace this series out and talk about it in a way that even newcomers will understand what's going on. So before I begin, the reason I called it Project Minecraft Game Show is because I need people to understand that it isn't just a simple video produced on a Friday evening in a matter of hours, but it's actually a larger scale project than people actually think. The whole creation process of the thing is very similar to the way many of the game shows you see on TV is produced, except we're not industry professionals and we don't own industry power computers. We're just an amateur group of creative people that have our own day jobs and like to do it as a part of our hobby. And yes, it really annoys me when I get some sort of blame from people who think we can upload it every week and we're being lazy if we don't. Or perhaps, why the hell we don't involve every person who's ever asked to be in it somehow. And FYI, that's literally thousands of people who have emailed me asking to be in it. So, the Noxcrew Game Show itself is a game show completely made in Minecraft that aims to sit at a level among other game shows on TV such as Wipeout, Crystal Maze, 50/50 and Jungle Run. If you haven't watched any of them, then shame on you. Well, less so Wipeout, because I hadn't actually ever watched that program before I concepted the style of the game show. Surprising, I know. Anyways, for the sake of everything, I'm going to call the Noxcrew Game Show an ultra game show, because of the sheer amount of craziness and variety that goes into it. If it was a game show done in real life, I don't think it would be producible at all. Too much health and safety issues and too much money in creating all those different games. So what I'm going to do with this series is actually pan it over a number of different episodes, because I want to keep each episode short, simple and condensed, because believe me, I could go on talking for a whole 20 whole minutes about the game show and we wouldn't even get anywhere. So to keep it structured, each episode is going to focus on one particular aspect of the game show, and eventually these episodes will turn into small behind the scenes displays where I'll talk about what we're adding and how we're improving the game show. If you have any questions about this particular subject or aspect in the episode, please feel free to ask in the comments section below and I'll be swift to answer. For this first episode, I really just wanted to give an introduction to the series and quickly explain the relationship between me, the builders, the commentators, and everyone else involved in the process, because I think the first steps of understanding what this all is knowing that there's a team behind it, and why there needs to be a team. I am the producer and the editor. I think the editor bit is self-explanatory, it's one of the most tedious jobs, but as the producer, I'm the one who basically takes the project from nothing to something. Believe it or not, we've got such comments before as, if XI Lubes and IBuse is the commentators, Epic Landlord is the build leader, then what the hell does Noxite do? Well, let me give you a hint, son. Everything you just watched and heard while watching the Noxcrew Game Show was concepted and finalized by me. I wanted you to watch it like that. I wanted you to listen to that type of commentary. I wanted it to be paced and structured like that. I wanted it to sound like that. And I put that all together for your viewing pleasure. But I don't want to sound like I'm the only one who did everything, because to achieve such a concept, you need a lot of other people on the exact same wavelength as you. I am simply the trunk of the tree, which brings me to segueing in Epic Landlord. Epic Landlord was the sapling that grew this said tree. Now, back when Epic Landlord first approached me with the idea of some sort of Minecraft game show, the Noxcrew was already quite a tight little community, and 1 year later it still feels like the wonderful family we always were, and that's one of the most important aspects of creating such a thing, is that everyone respects each other and has their own roles. I won't go into talking about how the Noxcrew came about, because that's a whole other story that's probably more appropriate for some sort of 100k video, if we ever get that far. But I'll just leave it at that the Noxcrew is a very tight family and that's what keeps things going. So Epic Landlord was someone who grew up being fascinated by game shows and had already produced a game show himself in Halo 3 using the Forge mode back in July 2011. I find it quite creative and funny, so I'll make sure to pop a link in the description. He also made all the music for that too, just like ours, except now he's come a long way. The fourth episode of it actually has Landlord commentating too. He's the one that's less loud but still manages to come out with some pretty funny comments. But his game show was lacking a certain something. My own touch, of course, without sounding too vain. So in a way, we were both two people who were destined to come together with his ideas and drive meeting my own ideas and video creating skills. So anyway, he watched game shows such as 50/50 and Jungle Run just like I did when I was younger. And originally, I actually turned down his idea of a game show and said, I'll think about it. I don't actually remember why, but a few days later I was sat on a journey back from the university and was suddenly hit by some sort of inspiration on how to create our very own media style for a game show. Now I'm not talking about the build designs, I'm talking about how the video side of it looks and sounds and how it's structured. Sometimes these kind of things just don't instantly come to mind, it takes a bit of cooking, and the idea finally came out of the oven. So I grew up watching a lot of varied media too. So lots of films, including ones you've probably never even heard of, plenty of TV, and spent my time playing tons of games too. So I'd consider myself pretty experienced in how creating media works. I gradually learnt how to edit step by step through my years, and upon discovering Minecraft, it gave me a lot of ideas to create videos. We actually started Minecraft with creating a mockumentary, me and my brother and his friends. Basically a piss take of a documentary about Minecraft back in July 2010. It didn't really go anywhere though, because it was a bit ridiculous and I don't feel like anyone quite understood the satirical humour. Or maybe I just suck at publicising things. Story of my life, really. Anyway, I'll provide a link to that in the description too, so enjoy that, will you? So, watching many other game shows and knowing how they worked, I wanted to create our own original style, because that's what I like to do, doing things differently. Not that it's quite working though, I should have probably just called it Minekeshi's Castle or something. Now that might have gone viral, come to think of it. Anyway, I wanted to create the craziest and most exaggerated game show ever, but keeping some sort of sanity to it, of course. And Minecraft allowed us to do this. So Epic Landlord now creates all the music and leads all the builds and the creation of the games, which I'll talk about in a different episode, while I do all the organizational and conceptual work. Epic Landlord is now the roots of the tree along with all the other builders, where I'm the one between him and everyone else that ties us all together. The others are the branches, the commentators, the cameramen, the server and mod pack managers, the graphic and texture artists, the on-shoot day characters and the game testers. So I'll stop there for now and go into talking about everything else in future episodes. So if you enjoyed listening to what goes on in my head, I'd love for you to comment and tell me what you thought. It would be deeply appreciated, and of course with whatever questions you may have, I'd be glad to answer. Next episode I'll go into talking about how we created the style of the game show and how it progressed into what it is now. I'll see you next time.